Back here at the opening round of the 2015 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, it's the GoPro Hangtown Motocross Classic, and great racing out here. We just completed our first 250 Moto, and we'll have a 450 race coming up after this, and then we start rolling. We'll be at Glen Helen in Southern California next weekend, then we head to Colorado and Thunder Valley. Muddy Creek begins our East Coast swing in Tennessee in June. And we'll wrap it up August 22nd at the relatively new Indiana National, just outside of Indianapolis on August 22nd. That's 12 rounds of racing, and it all starts right here, right now. Now, as we transition to the 450 class, let's get an update on our champion. A few moments ago, Georgia Lindsay was able to catch up with Ken Roczen, our defending champion.
So we have the #1 red plate holder, Ken Roczen. Now, Ken Roczen, for you, it was an unfortunate day so far. We saw you 24th in qualifying. We know that is not the normal Ken Roczen. Can you give us a little update?
Yeah, I did injure my back. Not from a crash. It just, I've had that injury for a long time, and it just now basically slipped and cracked. So I'm struggling a little bit right now, but I just want to power through this. I can't do any more damage. It's really just a pain that I'm trying to fight through right now. But yeah, struggling a little bit, but I'm gonna power through this weekend, and you know, I'm gonna have to get some points and minimize the damage.
These motocross guys sure are tough. Best of luck, Ken. Thank you.
Yeah, Roczen definitely not on his usual pace in qualifying. We'll see if he can ramp it up, because it's going to count for points as soon as we return here to MAV TV. Big crowd, big day for motocross racing as we kick off the 2015 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. There's Ryan Dungey on the factory edition Red Bull KTM. He's got the best equipment in the world. Same thing with the rider there to his left, Weston Pike, or to his right, Eli Tomac. But there are some privateers out here doing it on their own dime, and FMF is going to provide some recognition for them with the FMF Privateer Power Award. They'll hand out some money and some accolades to a top privateer at the end of the day today. We'll recognize that rider at our next show at Glen Helen. So really cool to see FMF providing some recognition to the underdogs. FMF has been around about as long as Hangtown has been, which goes back to the earliest days of the sport. Here's Kawasaki track map. Grant, take us through it.
Yep, this is a point of view look here. First turn sweeper. We saw Bogle get around there first in the 250 class, make that right over the tabletop, down to this choppy section. Great passing opportunity, very rough, lots of lines. Come back up the hill, hit Big Mo, a hip jump to the left, then right here, sharp right, sharp left, split lanes. Then this right-hander, crucial to get the power on the ground for this uphill over the Dirt Digger ski jump. It's more like a step up. Sharp turn back down the hill, hard on the throttle, and then hard on the brakes. Make this right. And this section getting really rough coming into these rollers here. Deep ruts right there. Guys trying to find different rhythms through there. Make a left at the top of the hill. Big crowd on hand. Jump down, you see the bird's eye view. Right, left. Another little split section here. You can go to the left and go triple, or go to the inside and go double-double. And right here, the jump that we all anticipate for the 450s. The Fly Racing 150-foot triple step up. Can these guys nail it? Make the sharp left past the TV compound. Over another one of those sizable jumps. Long right hand, rough sweeper. Then this sharp left into that tricky, steep step up. If you make that, step back down, get on the brakes again. Then this section is the half pipe section. Go over the old finish line, past the Fran Mechanics area. That's a lap here at Hangtown.
Okay, riders are at the line, but before we go, let's send it back to Georgia Lindsay for the GoPro starting gate.
Yes, now we have a full gate lined up, ready to get going on the start line. But we've got to look out for the number 24 of Brett Metcalf. He's on the Kawasaki. He's doing his own little deal right now. But, you know, these things are, you forget that these guys are human. However, a month ago, he had a baby with his wife, Sheena, on April 12th, sorry, called Maverick. So he's going to be riding for his new little one. And a guy that's helping him out is another rider he used to be teammates with, Robert Lind. He got injured in Supercross, and right now he's backing his buddy. He's helping him out. He's showing him the line, so they're working as a good team. Remember to look out for the number 24 of Brett Metcalf.
That's Lind back there in the gray polo shirt, helping out Medi, who'll be moving and racing in Canada in a few weeks. Let's see what he can do here in the U.S. Listen up, motorcycle fans. We have something special for you. You live for pro motocross, and we're going to thank you for your passion. So Lucas Oil, MAV TV, and Kawasaki are going to give you the chance to win a brand new 2016 KX of your choice. Visit facebook.com/LucasOil or go to facebook.com/MAVTV or text LiveMX to 313131. LiveMX to 313131, and you will be entered. Good luck to everyone. Okay, been racing at Hangtown for a long time now. They actually started at a place not too far from here. They called it Plymouth, and they moved over here for the majority of the races that we've had here at the Prairie City Off-Highway Vehicle Park. 47 years total operation makes it the oldest on the schedule. Ricky Carmichael, probably no surprise, has the most wins here. But the real key to winning today is dialing in the tires, specifically tire pressure. Here's Brian Fleck from Dunlop with more.
Hi, here at Hangtown, we want to make sure people understand about tire maintenance. One of the most important things you can do is check the air pressure on your tires. Here at Hangtown, we're suggesting 13 PSI front and 12.5 rear. We normally want everybody to check their tires about 10 minutes before they go out for practice or their motos. So you want to make sure that you check it and the tires cool down. We know it increases a pound or two during use when you're out on the track. So let the tires cool back down 10 minutes before your moto, set your pressures, you should be good to go.
One rider who was good to go in qualifying was Eli Tomac, who does run some Dunlop tires on his Geico Honda. He was the fastest rider in both of the qualifying sessions earlier today. He collects the Bud Light Fast Qualifier Award, and normally it's tenths of a second is the gap between the fastest and the second fastest. It wasn't even close. Tomac dominated.
Yeah, he was head and shoulders faster than anyone, and I think it's because he got the first KTM key to the moto, which is bike setup. He looked good out there. That's what you want. Get that bike set up. We come out of Supercross. We're at the outdoors. Totally different terrain. Get your rhythm early and don't end the season before it starts.
We're about to start it right now. Looks like Dungey on the inside with Chad Reed right next to him. But Tomac sweeping in from third to first. So Tomac into the early lead. Dungey scrubs it. But it's the number 3 of Eli Tomac with the number 1 spot. The official Motorsport.com whole shot will go to Dungey. And Weston Pike able to make some moves. He's up to third now.
Man, does Tomac not look like he just got shot out of a cannon? No wonder he was so far. Oh, not what Cole Seeley, the number 14, the factory Honda rider. And not only is he down, but he is not in a hurry to get up. He looks like he's in some pain. I hope that's not a knee injury. Hopefully, we always like to look for the best case scenario. It's just a dead leg or something along those lines. It's putting some pressure on it. Man, Cole Seeley had a good Supercross season, was coming on strong, but this guy's been phenomenal today. He has been on rails in time qualifying. At some point, he was almost 3 seconds quicker than anyone, Jason. I mean, we haven't seen that in a very, very long time.
Dungey going to try to hang with him here, the number 5 in second. Pike third. Blake Baggett up to fourth. And fast Freddie Norin. Good to see him back in action. He is in 5th right now. But Tomac already started to open up a little distance between Dungey and everyone else. And there's Norin trying to lean on Baggett. Norin, who was a great story last year, was a true privateer. Team Honda picked him up and gave him a factory bike the last couple races. He rallied to get into the top 10 of the final series standings. But he's under some pressure right now. Jason Anderson on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, the white bike. I think he made the move. Yes, he did.
I'm assuming Tomac nailed the 150-foot fly jump because I just heard the crowd erupt right when he came around. And that's a good thing about these 450s. Oh,
Christoph Porcel to the inside of Brett Metcalf, the 377, making some passes. So Porcel and Anderson and the Husqvarnas want to go to the front.
Well, that's what you got to do in these opening laps. The best time to get a lot of positions is early, when everyone's scrapping, when everyone's bunched up. It gets harder when guys get in the rhythm and spread out. And look at this, Ken Roxon.
Yeah.
He may have been 24th fastest in qualifying, and I said, I don't expect that to happen in the race. He's either going to be near the front or he'll end up in the pits because his back just will not hold out. But he is lurking there well inside the top 10. So for Kenny, got to remember, it's a long season for him. He said that injury will not get any worse. So that's the good news for him. He's got to muscle through as he does. He muscles around Brett Metcalf, just carries the momentum. Oh, stabs that leg out. that probably didn't help him much.
Hey, either way, it's still much better riding than he was putting together earlier in qualifying. So good to see Kenny, at least for the moment, has stepped up. He knows you've got to come out and try to salvage at least some points today if you can't get a win or get on the podium. We'll show you what this track looks like on board. We had the GoPro Hero 4 on Ken Roczen earlier in practice. Take us through it, Grant.
This is earlier. This is one of these sections coming down these hills with these ruts and bumps. You can tell here Kenny giving the little courtesy, hey, Carl Cunningham, I'm right here, trying to do a fast lap. Step up, step down, but all you see the bike bouncing around, and he's sitting in these sections. That's really going to add some stress on that lower back. There's that 150-foot fly racing triple stepper we're talking about, and these ruts and bumps have only gotten gnarlier, harder, and deeper than they were earlier. So for Roczen, this really is going to be a tough track for him.
He's, I believe, 7th place right now behind Porcel. Then it's Anderson. Those are the two white bikes. They would be 5th and 6th. Yeah, then it's Roczen behind them in 7th. Noren is 8th. Metcalf 9th. Barsha 10th. But Roczen looks a whole lot better than he did earlier. This is a gamer performance right now. I mean, like you said, 24th fastest when you're defending champ. That certainly shows that he's not 100%, but he looks a whole lot more like the Ken Roczen we're used to right now.
Champions make it happen when it counts. And that's why I said he's not going to finish 24th or anywhere near there. It's either going to be a matter of he can't continue and he'll be in the pits, or it'll be a decent result. You know he's in pain, so I'm not expecting him to go out and win. There's nothing worse than trying to ride with an injury and all you can think about is not re-aggravating it, rather than thinking about hitting your lines, hitting your marks, go after this guy, square him up. You know, all the things a racer should be thinking of.
Tomac, Dungey, Pike still your top 3, then Baggett, and then this battle. Anderson's just up ahead. There you see him. He's putting pressure on Baggett right now. These two have a little budding rivalry going back to Supercross. Oh, Roczen off the track. Big mistake there, and Metcalf's going to get him.
Yeah, Kenny must have got kicked going into that corner, especially when you are straddling the right-hand side of the track there. You can carry a lot of momentum, but one bad hop, especially if the bike, the rear moves to the left, meaning it's pointing you to the right going into a left-hand turn, you can blow it. We hear some more crowd eruptions. So a lot of action on the track. Just waiting to actually see on camera someone do the 150-foot big jump, because we didn't get to see it in the
Cincerillo just about got it.
Yeah, he did the 145-foot jump.
Yes. Okay, so here's Roczen over toward that section, trying to remount an attack on Metcalf, who he had already passed. Then he went off the track, gets him back. And Metcalf got bounced out of the rut. Noren's on the inside in the 39, and here comes Barsha, going to try to get Metcalf as well. There's Blake Baggett, the number 4 is 4th. 2 times he was an overall winner here at Hangtown on the 250. But he's got some heat from Anderson right now. Up ahead of them is Pike in 3rd, Dungey 2nd, Tomac your leader. No one able to handle the fly racing 150 right now. Noren and Metcalf continuing to battle inside the top 10, and Marshall lurking behind them. He's got the blue fenders on the Auto Trader Toyota Yamaha. Barsha was pretty quick in practice today. Just didn't get the start he clearly wanted in this moto. He's trying to make a move on Noren.
Racing is still very packed. Wow, look at Barsha. Gets over that clean round the outside. So that shows you how important and what a good passing spot that is, going up at that step up. Barsha got all the way to the top. Great seat bounce, and that Yamaha has a lot of torque. We know that coming out of the corners with that reversed engine and direct ram airbox. They're really torquey, meaning, you know, instantaneous power right up the bottom, and it seemed to help him right there. Well, there he makes a little bubble. That was a human error. But Barsha getting on the program, and there is, I mean, there's just battles everywhere. Every time we look around, it's just a steady stream of riders, one after the other.
Brock Tickle now getting into it. He's on the yellow bike. That's the Soaring Eagle. Suzuki goes around the outside of Noren. So that's going to put him in the top 10, push Noren to 11th. Tickle wants more. He's trying to get Barsha.
Oh, he goes to the inside of Barsha.
Whoa! Foot peg into foot peg. It's a split section, but they both wanted the outside. Not much room there.
Well, I think Brock Tickle knows how Justin Barsha rides, so he rode it the same way. Figured I'm coming in hot, and we'll see what happens after that. But Barsha, he'll dish it, he can take it, and right there, he didn't give an inch. He actually almost leant on Tickle. Tickle kind of tucked in, just lost a little momentum. Can he go back after the number 51, JGR, Autotrader.com Yamaha rider of Justin Barsha.
Norin, that team actually does get some factory Honda parts. That's the Motorsport GPI Honda team. He actually was scheduled to do a lot of the testing for Honda's factory riders, helped set the bike up for Tomac and Seeley, but tore his meniscus in his knee a few weeks ago. Norin just getting back on the motorcycle, running pretty well right now, but nobody running as well as the Geico Honda band, Eli Tomac, who has a 3.8-second lead over Ryan Dungey right now. So Tomac, fastest in both qualifying sessions today, and so far the fastest guy in the first moto of the year. But it's early here at Hangtown. You can see the countdown clock at the top of your screen. We're going to count it down to 0, and then we'll have 2 laps to go. But Tomac, bad news to everybody else. Not only is he fast, but he's also one of the fittest riders in the game as well. He's not going to get tired. Stay with us. Taking on the toughest projects with cutting-edge technology, Titan and his team are fighting for America and showing the world what it takes to be American-built. That's Sunday at 10 Eastern and Pacific on MAV TV. Eli Tomac continues to lead the first 450 class moto of the year here at Prairie City Off-Highway Vehicle Park. They call it Hangtown. Ryan Dungey solid in second. And by the way, the last couple laps, Dungey has matched the pace of Tomac. In fact, the last time around, he was a few tenths quicker. So we'll see. Dungey's able to make a run at him. Seems like every time he does, though, Tomac's able to turn it back up. So we'll close back up on this battle. Jason Anderson, he was 5th. He got Blake Baggett. Now he's got Weston Pike up to 3rd.
Anderson looking great. Great opening moto for the Husqvarna duo. Just a couple spots behind him, and striking distance is French teammate there, Christophe Porcel. So factory Husqvarna got to be happy with their boys so far. But right when we came back from commercial, I said earlier, I think Tomac is jumping the 150-foot fly racing jump up there, and we saw him do it. And I assume Dungey's doing it because Dungey has not really lost any ground. If we look at lap times, last time around, Tomac at 208.1, Dungey slightly quicker at 207.6, so the gap is only 3.4 seconds, and then it's basically a full almost 30 seconds to this battle that we're watching. And these guys are hauling the mail, but the front two just flying.
See, Anderson just ahead on the white number 21. You see him now. Then it's Pike on the blue bike, and Baggett in yellow in a good fight for 4th and 5th. And like we said, Baggett has won this race at Hangtown a couple times on 250s, and not just won it, but won it in spectacular fashion, coming from way back, making huge passes. And a lot of people think that Baggett here in his first year racing a 450 outdoors could really be a contender. He's got to get Pike though. And Anderson, who is another rookie to the class, really impressive. He's actually pulled away from these two. Porcel lurking now, 6th place, the 377.
Yeah, Porcel's been lurking there for a little while. Great to see that. Just within striking distance right now. I've got to imagine for Blake Baggett, it's got to be a little intimidating being one of the smallest guys, and now you got to go and try and either move or just do a clean pass on one of the biggest and probably most intimidating looking rider of Weston Pike. He's a big boy. He looks like he's a street fighter, but actually one of the nicest guys you'll meet. He's worked for everything he's got to get to this point, to have a factory Yamaha ride with the Joe Gibbs racing team and Autotrader.com. And look at that, over the 150. Look what it does. Gives him about a 3, 4, 5 bike length lead immediately. Not as big as I would have thought, but I think because that landing's rolled, the guys can soak up the double and then really soak up going off that hill and get in the corner. But gives Pike some breathing room right now. I mean, he had Baggett eating his roost, but that is key too. That is almost, I think, more key, jumping that step up clean, that one we just saw, rather than the massive one. The massive one, if you scrub it, meaning keep it low, get your wheels on the ground as quickly as possible, you don't lose it quite as much.
Yeah, Baggett and Porcel were really able to close in on Pike again. As we go back to our leader, Tomac stretched it back out. It was 3.5 seconds. Now it's 4.5 seconds. So he and Dungey got to be watching the pit boards and seeing where they are. See if your motorsport.com whole shot replay. Dungey's going to get it here in the center of the screen, but watch Tomac on the right, number 3.
Well, Tomac just has a better entrance coming to the second turn. He's got like more of a road racing sweeper line, just carries up momentum, but Dungey, no question about that. Chad Reed, great start for him. Tomac made short work of everyone, got the lead. He hasn't really dropped the field, but he's got himself a comfortable gap over Dungey, who has a huge gap over Anderson.
Yeah, so we'll keep watching this battle. Right behind Anderson, Pike and Baggett. Looks like Baggett has finally gotten the move on Pike. He's made the pass, and we can show you how it happened here as Pike's about to come under some pressure from Porcel.
Yep, down this hill we were talking about, gets real rough and choppy. Baggett, great line there, skims those bumps, gets to the inside, goes, all the lines seem to drift to the outside. So if you can just get your front wheel ahead of the guy who's on the outside of you, you've got the line. You can take his line away, make him have to check up. So now Porcel putting the pressure on Pike. And I'm wondering, if I'm looking at Pike right now, I'm wondering if maybe he's coming back to the keys to the moto, as Porcel seemed to get by relatively easy. I got a feeling Pike's probably just not got the bike set up, or he's not feeling his rhythm, because he looks tight.
Yeah, these guys have gone by him pretty quickly after he's running third. Let's send it down to Georgia's in the Fran Mechanics area. What do you got, Georgia?
Yeah, it was sad to see Cole Seeley go down in the first lap of the 450 race. However, I just spoke to one of his team members. They said, he did, like you guys said, have a big old stinger on his leg, which, made him limp off the track. He's got a huge headache, but they're going to see how he is, and they think that he could possibly race the second race, and they're really hoping for that. So it's good. It's good news, honestly.
Yeah, in motocross terms, a stinger of the leg, we were afraid he might have had a significant injury. Watch top of the screen here on the red bike.
Red bike,
Seeley
yellow
trying
helmet.
to find it.
Oh, you can see
him
in the
go flipping.
background. A little tough to see because there's just so much chaos. But I think, oh yeah, he hits a berm on the exit. Right on the exit there, you see him going down about 8-9 bikes back, right in the corner of the screen now. And, well, I'm glad my speculation was correct. I always hope for best case scenario when guys go down. A stinger on the leg. We used to call that a lamey in South Africa growing up. Yeah, just like a little Charlie horse where you get the handlebar just barricades in your leg and you can't walk and you're struggling.
Is it lame? Hey, we're halfway through the moto, 15 minutes to go. So I can remind you that in 15 minutes you could save 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance with Geico. Things have settled down toward the front just a bit. Porcel around Pike. He's 5th, Pike 6th, Metcalf 7th. Pike's teammate Barsha is 8th. Tickle and Reed round out the top 10. Bad news, trying to find Ken Roxon, 15th now. First couple laps, Roxon was a little bit racy, was climbing into the top 10, but now your defending champ, dealing with a back injury, has gone backwards. Hope he can survive and even score some points and try to keep himself in title contention. Meanwhile, Brent Metcalf in a guest performance here. Again, he'll be pursuing the Canadian National Championship later this summer. Solid right now, though, in 7th. We're back here at Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Check out promotocross.com for all the information on this championship. That's where you can get results, upcoming schedule, and actually watch our first motos and practice every Saturday morning right there on the website. You get a lot of information right there about this rider, for example, Eli Tomac, who has built up a pretty solid lead, but now they've got into lap traffic. He got held up in a few spots, and Ryan Dungey took what was once a 4.7 second lead down to 2.5.
Oh, well, you can see why as we have a look right here. Look at Tomac comes to the inside. These guys are battling for position. ET just at the wrong place, wrong time. So this is why racing gets, you almost have two parts of the race, because now we're in the second half and you've got to try and find your way through the traffic, left, right, especially when they're battling. So for Ryan Dungey at this point, sometimes being the second guy around is a little bit easier because the riders that are getting lapped are now expecting the blue flag. Sometimes it catches them off guard the first time, especially when you're concentrating on the guy in front of you and not looking at the flagger. So ET definitely lost a little bit of time there, but even without some of the traffic, Dungey, when he has a clean lap, takes a few tenths off every time, and then it seems like he might make a little mistake, and then Eli managed to pull it back just a half second or so. So the gap's gone back and forth, but now after that lap, 10 laps into this race, it is just under 3 seconds. So we'll see Ryan Dungey coming into the picture, and there he is. So there is no one between him and the leader, so he's got a clear shot. You still see the blue flags. Tomac's going to hit some more traffic, so is it going to work into Dungey's favor? We've seen it before. Sometimes it can go both ways. It's where you catch your guys, and it's also for these riders, you've got to be smart. You almost have to anticipate where the guy in front of you is going to go and try and make sure you're not there. Easier said than done, but it's a very key component of one of the many reasons on how to be a good motocross rider and a champion.
And this is one of the specialties of Ryan Dungey. There's times where guys are able to outpace him maybe by just a smidge, but he always stays in it every lap of every moto, every season. And here we go. Tomac was just blazing fast at the beginning of this one, blazing fast in qualifying, but Dungey's been able to keep him at least a little bit honest here. And don't underestimate Dungey's speed as well, though he's got to get the lap riders in the right spot also.
Exactly, and you can see these guys are battling, not intentionally, but even they're going a little over the place. There is Will Hahn, a seasoned veteran as far as racing is concerned, and he does the Curtis thing, allows the leaders by, gives Dungey some room, goes, hey guys, I'm just happy to be back on the bike. You guys go battle for that win. I'm going to try and get me some points. Will Hahn sitting in 23rd place on that Monster Energy factory Kawasaki. So I think for him, a point would be like a nice early Christmas present right now. When you had what Will Hahn season went like, catastrophic injury in the first practice of Supercross this season, ugly crash, breaking his back. Now he's back on the bike. Happy to see him.
Looks like Tomac has pulled it out just a bit again. It's about 4 seconds now between he and Dungey. So it's one of those yo-yo battles, as they call it. It gets close and it extends and it gets close and it extends again. Really hard to determine who's the quicker rider at this point in the race, but the bottom line is Tomac got the drop early, no doubt about it. And he's got a little bit of a cushion to play with as he works his way through the lap traffic. Much bigger gap than it was a lap ago.
Well, it seems to me like with Eli Tomac, most of the time we're not doubting his speed. It's just a bad start, or sometimes he can be his own worst enemy with that. As we look at our defending champion, the #1, Ken Roczen, in 17th place. Not the day he was hoping for. Can only imagine what he's dealing with, because, you can see he looks like...
yeah, he's laboring for sure.
He looks like a guy who's struggling.
And here's the problem. He's 17th. They only pay points back to the top 20, so he could be in danger here. You got Lemoyne, Freezy, and Schmelian. Those are the 3 riders behind him. If they all get around him, and there's still a lot of time left in this moto, you can see the countdown clock. We have 7 minutes and 2 laps to go. Roczen's going to put in all this effort and deal with all this pain and potentially not score any points. Certainly got to give him an A for effort for going out there this hurt. I mean, clearly he's dealing with some pain here. We know how fast Ken Roczen can be. We saw how quick he was at the beginning of the moto in comparison to this. And he's just trying everything he can to salvage something. Every point counts when you're racing for a championship.
I have to imagine that he's in a fair amount of pain. Guys like this just don't roll over and allow a championship to potentially slip through their fingers before it really gets going. So I think this injury, even if it doesn't get any worse, he's got to be concerned about the problem of, is it going to ever get any better if you go out week after week and, really jeopardize, your back? Because I don't care who you are or how good your suspension is. On these tracks, you're sitting through rust up and it pounds your lower back. I've actually had herniated discs, bulging discs in the past, and it is painful. It actually makes your back feel like someone stuck a metal rod up there and you're rigid, you can't move. And when you got that kind of pain, you can't even concentrate on trying to ride. He's just going through the motions right now. But it also shows you how good this guy is, that he can literally look like he's on a parade lap and just cruising, and he's got points.
See if we can get a little insight here. We'll send it to Georgia in the Fram Mechanics area with Roczen's mechanic.
Yes, I'm down here with Kelly Limger. Now, obviously, Ken Roczen's a strong guy. He already told us that he's really struggling with his back. For him, he wants to win. He wants to get points. What was his mentality before he came out?
He's strong, so mentally strong, and he's so determined. He don't want to go down without a fight. So right now, he's still in the points. Every point counts. We're going to go to the end.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly.
He just went a lap down to Tomac, but that's okay. That's not going to affect his position on the track. And really right now, he just doesn't want to get passed by anyone on the same lap as him, so he can still stay in that top 20. That's a great point you make. He looks like he's laboring. He's still ahead of half of the field.
Yeah, but it's still really, really frustrating right now. And you can tell he is way off Ken Roxon's pace, and he would tell you the same thing. This just does not look like a Ken Roxon that we are used to, where we've seen him with that confidence, that flowing riding style, that flamboyant kind of personality. It just looks like someone that's definitely a little concerned. I don't blame him. See Dungey getting over the Fly Racing 150-foot jump, still doing it this late stage, because you know why? He's still charging after Eli Tomac, a race leader. If you know Dungey, he will never give up. He fights to the end, and he's very consistent.
Nailed that big jump and nailed the inside of the corner at the end. Doesn't want to let Tomac off the hook. Got about 5 minutes for the 2-lap board. Comes out trouble for this rider, the 51 of Barsha. Crashes, get the bike hung up on a fence. He was trying to hold on for a top 10. Get fired up for new episodes of Full Custom Garage. It's going to be a wild ride, and Ian isn't going to stop until it's full custom. Full Custom Garage, Friday, 7 Eastern and Pacific, right here on MAV TV. Got a battle brewing here for 8th place between Weston Pike and Chad Reed. They seem to find each other a lot. Going back to Supercross earlier this year, and now same thing in Motocross. Well, Pike Reed got a great start, got shuffled back quickly. Now moving back forward. Pike was running 3rd at one point, and it's been shuffled back later in the race.
He just doesn't quite seem to have his rhythm going right now, but never mind Chad Reed. He's got Phil Nicoletti right behind him. So Filthy Phil on the same bike as Weston Pike, JGR, Autotrader.com, Racing Yamaha. So great to see Filthy, as they call it, Filthy Phil Nicoletti.
Yeah.
This kid's got a ton of talent. Got a little bit of that riding style, a little bit like Cincerello. Uses those long legs. And he just got around Chad Reed. So Phil got some great pace going here. And Pike looks like maybe he just took a little breather, got his calmed down, got his rhythm back. His lap times have been a little more consistent. I think he just got maybe a little tight earlier, and that is very common. Jason, you ask a lot of guys, even if when you don't see it, they will admit to you after the race, man, I rode tight. And when we say tight, it means your forearms pump up, you're holding those bars too tight. And then a lot of times it's either a nervous type thing or your bike is not handling as well, so you're holding on tighter.
It's definitely tough in the first race of the year, especially. You mentioned that transition everyone's making. Here's Reed, who is in 10th. He's got Nicoletti and Pike right ahead of him. And then behind Reed's going to be Noren 11th, Kyle Chisholm 12th, Tommy Hahn 13th, Cunningham 14th, Brayton 15th, and Ken Roxon has actually made up a spot. He was 17th. He climbed up to 16th, certainly battling with everything he has. By the way, Reed's teammate, Josh Grant, out for the weekend. Gotta figure Grant could have come out here on fire. He's done very well at Hangtown in the past. Won the very first moto of the year last year, which was held at Glen Helen, but a huge crash just a few days ago. Grant just too beat up and sore to race today. Here's Noren in the 39, Swedish rider, just outside the top 10 and 11th on that Motorsport GPI Honda. And then Kyle Chisholm, the Team Chiz Kawasaki back rider, gonna come through next. There he is in green. That'll be 12th place for Chisholm. Chisholm going to be back here for the full Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. Spent a few years racing in Canada. Actually got an overall win in Canada last year. And Chisholm just doesn't give up, man. He built his own team, couldn't really get a ride, so he called some friends and sponsors and put it together, and he's going to spend whatever money it takes to drive to these races and make it happen. And how about Tommy Hahn, coming out of retirement? Spent a few years off the tour, had a few guest appearances here and there, but told me it was last April he decided to really recommit himself to racing, and he feels good being back on a 450 outdoors full-time. Teammate with Noren.
And he's having a great ride right now. I don't care what anyone says. 13th place, coming back, that's solid. Right behind him, we see
Tomac is lapped all the way through.
Tomac is absolutely tearing this field apart. So now we see Justin Brayton. So KTM rider goes a lap down. He's probably going to be serious. I'm 14th and I got lapped. Still 3 laps to go.
Yeah, that's Brayton of the BTOsports.com KTM. We find Dungey here in 2nd, and I think Tomac has officially dropped Dungey now. It's 11.5 seconds the gap, so it was 4, 3, 5 seconds. They were kind of circulating similar lap times.
But look at the gap behind Dungey. He's got 50 seconds on Jason Anderson in 3rd. So it shows you the pace of Tomac in this first moto. And Dungey has tried to hang, but I think right now Dungey has just realized, hey, I'm going to settle for second, don't blow it, maybe save a little energy, not that he needs to, but sometimes you just take a breathe and go, you know, I'm okay with second. And I'm going to come out, get the whole shot the second moto. This is what a rider thinks. I'm going to come out second moto and lay it all out in the line, and Tomac's going to get a bad start. I'm going to win the overall. And Tomac's thinking, I just had that one easy. I just got to get a decent start, and I'm going to cut this overall as well. So, little insight in the mind of a racer.
Basically, they all think they can win when they go to the gate.
There's 10 guys that are going to win this overall, trust me.
In their minds,
but
yeah.
in actuality, there's only one.
All right, so Tomac could be the one in this first moto. He's got 2.5 laps to go. Tomac did win an overall last year at Millville, Minnesota. Missed the first 4 rounds of racing with a broken collarbone. Came back, won a race, and pretty much was running the pace of Roxon Dungey and Trey Kennard, who were winning the races down the stretch last year. Just only got that 1 overall, though. Let's send it to Georgia with a little more on the number 3.
Yes, the number 3 of Eli Tomac. You can tell those guys, they are such a tight family. And as you can see, there's Kathy Tomac, his mother right now, who's always at the races, no matter what. He brings his family, he brings his motor home. They're a racing family anyway, because his father obviously was a mountain bike competitor. So as a family, they're always around. She cooks the food for all the Geico Honda guys. And, you know, it's like racing from the beginning when you're an amateur. The whole family goes, you eat together, breathe together, sleep together, and do motocross together.
But they do have that little wrinkle of the fact that this is not the first time the Tomac family has been on top of a very high-end competitive sport. You can make the argument that John Tomac, Eli's dad, he could be maybe the greatest of all time as far as American mountain biking goes, and he was no slouch, by the way, as a road cyclist as well. So the Tomac family kind of knows the ins and outs of not only the training thing, but the travel, the pressure, and all the other things, the business basically of being a professional athlete. And even to the highs and lows that Eli's gone through, they've stayed pretty steady throughout.
What's great to see is, you know, everyone says doing business with family is very tough. And indirectly, this is a business for the family. And I love seeing a tight family stay tight and not let money or distractions tear people apart. Because at the end of the day, no one is going to have Eli's back like his parents. Great to see them involved, and great to see that Eli never shunned his family away once it became big time. We've also seen the flip side where the kids and the parents have arguments and they go their separate ways. The kids want nothing to do with their parents, and it's sad to see because we do love to consider this still a family sport. They go, don't get me wrong, Eli Tomac's got a lot of very, very smart individuals around him as he just jumps it down. It makes it look so easy, too. It's most guys doubling it, and he just stabs the brake, floats over, but he was doing that this morning, and that was also what helped him get that really fast lap time. He even said, hey, on my fast lap, I nailed that 150-foot triple step up. And right here, look at him just leaning into that. He's really got the flow going on right now, and he's feeling it.
This is something special, this performance by Eli Tomac. Dungey halfway through this one.
Chad Reed, I'm sorry to cut you.
And that's 10th place. 10th place. Trying to lap 30 riders in this moto. So Eli Tomac, a big statement early. He is ready to contend for race wins and this 450 championship this year. Obviously, with the pedigree he has, he won the 250 title just 2 years ago. A great season in Monster Energy Supercross that just wrapped. It's not like Tomac wasn't right at the top of the title contenders list already, but when you go out there in the first moto and put 16 seconds even on Ryan Dungey, that's still really impressive.
Well, I also like to try to remind people, when you have a single-digit number, that means you're a national champion. You've earned it. You're kind of a big deal. So you do expect single-digit rider, numbered riders to be up at the front. And Eli has had the speed. I personally think he's his own worst enemy because of his starts. We saw it in Supercross. If you get a bad start, sometimes you get a little anxious or you panic a little bit. And he had these dumb crashes or impatient crashes by trying to get past. And that's what happens when you get a bad start. You're like, oh, the top guys are getting away. I've got to go and get them now. Time's running out. When you're racing, trust me, it's really easy to panic because these motos sometimes, when you're at the back or you're coming through the pack, it can feel like it's a 2-hour moto. And then, when you're leading, it can feel like a 2-hour moto. When you're coming from the back, it seems like it's 5 minutes. And you start panicking a little bit. So if Eli can get those starts and keep that consistency, you got to imagine this is going to be a really exciting series because we know Ryan Dungey is either going to be probably arguably on the podium every single race. ET over there.
Wow.
That's fun to watch.
Absolutely, 150 feet.
If I could do that, I would love to go and jump that right now. It just looks like a great flow to jump.
You just want to go and do the jump. Forget about the rest of the laps or or the reps or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just do the big jump.
Yeah, at this stage of your life, I'm like a show pony. One little jump and then it's off to the side.
Okay.
Let the professionals take over.
All right. Tomac is also credited a big turnaround, by the way, with Honda. They brought back a lot of the engineers from Japan and the HRC racing team. That was really a key when Honda was the dominant force in this sport back in the 80s and 90s. And they've taken this motorcycle to another level. The performance that he and Trey Kennard and Cole Seeley had in Supercross clearly moving forward in motocross is going to be good too. Eli Tomac dominates the first moto of the season here at Hangtown. What a performance by him. Dungey's going to hang on for second. Jason Anderson looking to round out first moto of the year on the podium. Back here at Hangtown, fans headed to the sponsor Midway, getting to sample some products, maybe buy themselves a t-shirt. Tomac is going to get himself some nice hardware. He's got a first moto win. He's on the podium. We'll send it to Georgia Lindsay.
Yes, huge congratulations to Eli Tomac, the number 3 in that first race for the first race of the season here at Hangtown. Triple step up every single lap, fastest in qualifying and lapping up to 10th. What did you have for breakfast?
I don't know, I guess the good stuff. Man, it was just nice to start with clean air that time and got off to almost had the whole shot. Ryan just beat me into that first corner, and then was able to make the pass around that second corner, and from there it was my own race, and I've just been feeling really comfortable all day on the motorcycle, and hopefully we'll carry this into the second moto.
All right, well, best of luck in that second moto. Congratulations. He's not even sweating, guys.
Yeah, that was a convincing performance, and we'll show it to you here with the Lucas Oil race recap. Ryan Dungey, center of the screen, going to grab the whole shot. But then Tomac gets around him on the outside, and then all the way to the outside, Cole Seeley, you might have just caught it on the left side of your screen. He hits the side of the racetrack, goes down hard, and Seeley's race was over from there. Hopefully he's not injured too badly. Good battles throughout. Here's Justin Barsha, Brock Tickle. Tickle tries to make a move on the inside, comes up just short, making it happen. Then a little bit further on, Tomac runs into lap traffic just as he was pulling away. This allowed Ryan Dungey, who is in second, to close back in for a bit. Last 5 minutes of the race, though, Tomac really extended it, and he ends up winning by 22 seconds. So first shots fired in motocross this year. Eli Tomac grabs the win in the 450 motocross moto number 1. Here are your results. Dungey, as mentioned, second. Anderson and Baggett took it right down to the line. Baggett was charging hard, but Anderson edges him out for that podium ride on the Rockstar KTM. And Porcel, excellent ride. He finishes up in 5th. To show you the rest of the top 20, the key rider, 19th for Ken Roczen. He will earn 2 championship points. Way to gut it out. And good job by Will Hahn to get inside the points paying position in 17th as well. Let's send it back to Georgia.
The number 5 of the KTM Red Bull, Ryan Dungey, second place in that moto. Eli Tomac, he took it off and he stretched that lead he had. What is it for the second moto that you think you're going to have to do to stay with him?
Just regroup, for about the 20 minutes there, we were keeping cat and mouse a little. It was a little bit ahead of me. I let him get away in the beginning a little bit, but we were kind of right there. But towards the end, he started finding some good lines, it seemed, and pulling away a little bit. But we give it our all, and he's riding really good. So we'll regroup, get rested up for the second moto, and see what we got.
Well, congratulations. Second place, and you have the next moto. Well done.
Now let's show you this battle for third. Baggett here, the number 4, is in 4th. Anderson, 21, is 3rd. This is with 2 turns to go through the half pipe. Look how close they're getting, Grant.
These guys are not like friends off the track.
No.
And Baggett trying to go after Anderson, who had a great moto, just able to hold him off. Baggett right there, gave it everything he had.
And Anderson looks over at Baggett. Baggett looks right past him. And Anderson goes to the podium. Let's send it to Georgia.
Yes, Jason Anderson. I mean, I can't help but look at you and just think the mustache is what made you go so fast. But on a serious note, you came out here on a 450 bike, first race of the season, and on the podium. What have you changed from last year?
I've started working with Alden Baker, and that's been a good time, and I feel like it's showing somewhat. I still got another moto to go, so we'll see how I fare in that one. But that was a good moto for me, my first 450 outdoor, and that beast is hard to hang on to the whole practice, or the whole race. But I couldn't do it without my whole team: Rockstar Energy, Husqvarna, Thor Gear, Dragon Goggles, Hilton. There's a whole crew, Alden helping me out. mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, just the whole crew. It's really rad to see everything come together and put that Husqvarna on the box for the first moto.
Congratulations on the box, like you said, first time on a 450. Well done, Jason.
El Hombre, they like to call him, his buddies. Here's your upcoming schedule here. As soon as this is complete, which will be in just a few minutes, switch over to NBCSN, and you can watch our second motos as Marvin Musquin and Eli Tomac try to finish today off with overall victories. We'll also have a highlight show a little bit later on, and then Glen Helen next weekend in Southern California. First motos on MAV TV, second motos on NBCSN. Full live coverage of these first 2 rounds, 4 straight hours over our 2 networks. Well, there's a lot of conjecture going in, a lot of bench racing, of course, of what would happen when we kicked off the 2015 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross campaign, and some of the favorites firing early shots. Marvin Musquin with a great performance in the first moto to win the 250 class, and Eli Tomac, who is lightning quick all day long in the 450, wins Moto 1. But we're only halfway there. Switch over to NBCSN and watch the second motos coming up. We'll see if Musquin and Tomac can finish the day as overall winners at Hangtown. For Georgia Lindsay and Grant Langston, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.